Hi guys, let's get to it. What I'm showing you guys now is everything you're going to need to be able to accomplish that authentic Japanese hibachi taste at home. Of course, I have the vegetables ready. Here we have zucchini, carrots, mushrooms, broccoli, and onions. Here I have homemade garlic butter, and here I have my homemade shrimp sauce, aka white sauce. For this recipe, I had used 6 cups of white rice. You want to make sure that it's short grain white rice. You also want to make sure that you refrigerate your rice overnight to get all the moisture out of your rice. If you skip the step of putting your rice in the refrigerator overnight, your rice might be mushy. Nobody wants mushy rice, okay? So, you guys see me with my 2 cast iron skillets on the grill, right? I know you're thinking, why is this girl making her hibachi on the grill? Okay, I'll tell you why. At the hibachi restaurants, their grill, I don't know what degrees their grill gets to, but their grill gets hot, okay? And this is my first time making this recipe, so I wanted to make sure that, I got it to a T. Now, of course, you don't have to do this. You can make it on the stove. Actually, I did it on the stove the next day, and it turned out better. So, you don't have to use a grill. Use a stove, but make sure you use high heat because they cook their food on high heat. Here, I use 2 eggs. You want to make sure that you salt and pepper your eggs so they have a little bit of flavor to them. Now, I don't have the ninja spatulas that the hibachi people be using, but I have this knife and this fork, so we're gonna make it work. You wanna make sure that you cut up your eggs really finely, okay? You don't want big pieces of eggs. This is not Chinese fried rice, it's Japanese fried rice, so cut up your eggs really small. If you use a regular pot to cook your rice, then you might not have to go through this process, but because I use a rice cooker, I had to chop up my rice because it was formed to the bowl that I cooked the rice in. What you're going to need for this rice, listen. You need to get your sesame oil, you need to get your ground white pepper, your salt, and your garlic butter. These are the things that are going to make your rice taste like the hibachi restaurant. If you skip using the sesame oil and if you skip using the ground white pepper, you are not going to achieve that authentic taste. Also, you do not want to use too much sesame oil. If you use too much sesame oil, it's going to taste like peanuts, okay? Nobody is eating Thai food. We're eating Japanese. You see that I put salt and ground white pepper in the rice, right? Okay, don't use too much salt because the soy sauce has enough salt in it to where it's going to give your rice flavor. You don't need to put that much salt. You have any onions, peas, carrots, or anything that you want to put, any vegetables you want to put in your rice, here is when you do so. I personally don't like that in my rice when I get it from the restaurant, so I stuck to that at home, but if you like to add vegetables, go ahead and do that now. Also, adding your soy sauce. You guys, I do not do measurements. I season my food according to what it smells like. I can smell when the food has enough seasoning on it and when it needs some more. So you add your soy sauce. If it doesn't look brown enough, you add some more, okay? You'll see me about to add the garlic butter in now. The garlic butter should have been added when you were seasoning the rice with the ground white pepper and the oil and everything. Now for the veggies. You want to put your vegetables in the pan, the griddle, whatever you decide to use, and you want to let it saute. You don't want to add any soy sauce or teriyaki sauce until you see brown marks on your zucchini or on your onions. You want to make sure that it's actually cooked before you start adding the soy sauce and the teriyaki sauce to it. My grill started losing fire, you guys, so this cooking process was a little longer than what it should have been, but it does not take long for your vegetables and your rice to cook, especially on high heat. This recipe is so quick and it is so simple. The only thing you need to season your food is salt, pepper, garlic butter, and the teriyaki sauce. That is everything that is to this recipe. You don't need a whole lot of extra stuff. I'm telling you, try this at home, okay? Now that I done made this at home, I'm not finna go to the hibachi restaurant and spend $15, $16 on a dinner plate. Child, who? So for the meats, it's simple. I'm browning right now my steak and my chicken. For the chicken, of course, you want to make sure you salt and pepper. Don't use too much, but just enough to add a little bit of something. And for the steak, I didn't use any salt or any pepper. I just used the garlic butter and I used soy sauce. You guys might not be able to see, but as I mentioned earlier, my vegetables are starting to brown. So I'm about to go ahead and add in my soy sauce and just a little bit of that teriyaki sauce, okay? You add enough soy sauce to where your vegetables are fully coated in soy sauce. You don't want to go too light. I was going light because I wasn't sure. It was my first time making it, but as I mentioned earlier, I made it again the next day. So make sure you add enough soy sauce to where your vegetables look dark and add in just a little bit of teriyaki and let it bubble. So far, the only thing I added to the steak was the garlic butter. So once your steak is brown enough to your liking, you go ahead and add your soy sauce on top. Once your chicken is done all the way through, you want to go ahead and add on your teriyaki sauce on top. Make sure that the teriyaki sauce sits and actually bubbles a little bit and infuses that flavor into the chicken. If your chicken is not brown enough, add some more teriyaki sauce. Now we have our salmon on the grill. Salmon doesn't take long to cook at all, especially if it's a thin piece like this. Salmon usually takes about 5 minutes to cook all the way through.
Damn!
You'll be able to tell when the salmon needs to be flipped because you'll start to see the edges turn white. So after you flip your salmon over, you want to go ahead and get your teriyaki sauce ready to pour on top. Be very generous with the teriyaki sauce. This shrimp that is being cooked was already deshelled and deveined, so we put it right in the pan after washing it, rinsing it off, added a little bit of salt to it, added garlic butter, and added the teriyaki sauce on top and let it bubble. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed it. You guys, please try this recipe on your own at home before you decide to go to a hibachi restaurant again. Make sure you like and subscribe. Drop your comments or any questions down below. And be on the lookout for new updates and new videos. Thank you.